if you look at their schedule, Verlander will pitch Friday in Chicago. He'll pitch Wednesday against the Angels, a day game. I got to figure Ohtani would play in that game. And then he will start the Yankees series, which will begin in Houston on the 1st of May. I'm sorry. Yeah, he will not start. He will pitch against the Yankees on Tuesday, May 1st. So theoretically, he will pitch his next two starts after the White Sox. He will pitch against the Angels, and then he'll pitch against the Yankees, which we'll keep an eye on. We'll enjoy that. Here's Mike in San Diego, California, and he's with us here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Mike, good afternoon. How are you today? What do you have for me?
Good. You know, I was reading this review by Edward Cosner from the Wall Street Journal. I guess there's a book, The Season in the Sun, about the 56 Triple Crown by Mickey Mantle.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Eddie, we'll get him to look up. When did that
this piece? It was in past weekend, but it really goes after Mantle. I mean, he says, you know, I guess he says the book is pretentious, but he says, you know, he was a moody, angry, hard-drinking philanderer. And he goes into that they were taking greenies. And then in May, he threw a runner out at home.
This is the writer who's saying this, correct?
Yes, the writer's, no, I'm sorry, the guy that's critiquing the book.
Okay, well, based on what the writer wrote in the book.
Right. And he's saying the book is pretentious. He said there was only 6,700 fans in a May game, and that also he was being investigated that year by the FBI, was investigating for an alleged romance with Holly Brooke. He had a romance.
Who is Holly Brooke? I don't even know who she is.
A beautiful redhead, 7 years older than the 24-year-old slugger, and many won. In the middle of the season, the Yankee front office learned the FBI was investigating an extortion plot involving a supposed liaison with a married woman.
Oh, so she was married and he was hanging out with a married woman?
Right, and the FBI was investigating him. And then, you know, they were taking greenies like, you know.
Well, I got to see that. I'm not familiar with this book. Season in the Sun, and when did it come out?
Season in the Sun. I think it came out in January, but I think the book is more like, you know, the puppy dogs and ice cream. But the writer is throwing all this stuff in there. That's not in the book. It's kind of a weird review, like you almost had an axe to grind. And the other thing is, I don't know if you mentioned on High Heat or your show, but did you come to the conclusion, or your feeling is that Joe DiMaggio was better than Mickey Mantle?
Yeah, I think he's better. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, better hitter. You know, he's a better hitter. He's a better outfielder. Mantle is much more dynamic. Mantle is the first TV star in baseball. Mantle hit a longer ball than DiMaggio did. He hit the ball long. He hit a further ball. And he also switched hit, which you liked. But
drove in more runs.
Yeah, but you know, DiMaggio's a better player than Mantle. Overall, DiMantle's a 295, struck out 1,000,000 times. I mean, Mantle struck out 1,300 times. I mean, DiMaggio struck out 168 times in his career. He struck out 363 times in his career. I mean, DiMaggio's the better. I'm surprised, Mike. I got to tell you that. You should know that. DiMaggio's a better player than Mantle. Better player.
Wow. Well, I know that he had the Triple Crown. I mean, he didn't have the power that Mantle had, but. You know, he didn't hit for the Mantle didn't hit for the 56 game streak, but to me, I don't see the power and the RBIs with DiMaggio.
You know, DiMaggio hit 368 home runs. It's not like he didn't hit any home runs. I think he hit 368 home runs and struck out 363 times. It might be the other way around. 363 and then 368 with the strikeouts, but those are the two figures. DiMaggio, listen, I didn't see him play in their prime, either one of them, but DiMaggio's better player than DiMaggio. He's over. No, he's not as dynamic. He's not as fun. You know, he's certainly not as home run and not the home run hitter Mickey is. And he's, you know, and obviously, you know, Mickey had a lot of injuries. DiMaggio never did. Well, DiMaggio had injuries too, but you know, Mantle couldn't. You know, had that injury right away in 1951. He really cut down on his speed. But I think DiMaggio's better player. That book, Season in the Sun. Can we get that book there, Eddie? Do you find it?
I found it. I'm getting you a review right now.
When did the book come out?
Well, this review is from the 12th of April from the Washington Post.
Oh, so this book came out a couple days ago. When did it just came out? Is he not like the book? You got to fill me in on this. I'm interested.
Stand by.
Okay. See if Eddie can get that taken care of. Jason is in Philly, and he's with us here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Jay, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty well, Chris. How are you?
Fine, Jason. Nice to talk to you. What's on your mind now? Let me hear.
Well, before I get into Mets Nationals, I'm behind in the books. I have Yawkey, I have Castro, and now I have Season in the Sun. So every time I listen, I'm behind 3 now.
Yeah, you're behind some books. Yeah, we got to get you this Season in the Sun I'm not familiar with, so I don't want to sit there and recommend it until I get a little sense of it. But I didn't even... It must be a decent book if it's being reviewed. And when a book gets reviewed in the New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, when a book gets reviewed in that, the book has got some juice because they don't review lousy books. You know, they may not like the book, but the book's a big book. So that would tell me, you know, the crap book does not get reviewed. The Wall Street Journal doesn't waste their time with those kind of books that are not that important. So that's why I would say this book might be significant. But go ahead, let me hear.
Yeah, definitely going to check that out. But a brutal loss last night for the Mets. It was just awful. I mean, you have DeGrom in the hill, and he's 1 out in the 7th inning. That at bat with Turner. Turner kept battling him, got the single. That's when Callaway took him out. But, you know, you really could have put the Nationals and stepped in their throat. They had all the momentum in the world. And this is a game you might look back September 1st and say, remember when the Nationals got back in the race? I'm well aware it's early, but last night's game had that feel. I did like what Callaway, I don't know, did you see the safety squeeze he did in the 6th inning, Chris, last night?
I didn't see it. Go ahead. Fill me in.
It was Lagares on third base, DeGrom batting 1 out, and then he had the bunt and he scored. So I thought it was a little old school National League baseball. They were up 2-1 and then they went 3-1 in that point. But it was just a terrible, terrible loss. And you have Wheeler going tonight. You're not sure where you're going to get it at him, but you know, just disappointing. But it was nice to see Callaway actually go back to that. Yeah,
fair point. And you got to throw the game out if you're a Met fan. You're going to lose occasionally those kind of crazy games. You don't like the fact that it came against Washington, 18 in front of the hour here on Mad Dog Unleashed.
SiriusXM has